It's showtime. We are live. This is episode 28 of the Practical AI Show. We got some stories for you today. We're going to have some fun and tell some stories. And if AI, the history of humanity with AI is a movie, today we're going to share the scene in the movie that you will remember. Everything that has kind of happened so far in 2026, obviously OpenClaw has sort of dominated the discourse. OpenClaw was a bit of an accident. I didn't know this. Did you know this? It's a bit of an accident. And so the thing that has ignited this whole, I don't know, it feels like a rocket ship to me now, was a bit of a happy accident. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about some other future predictions, which I enjoy dabbling in this, predicting the future. We've got the ultimate prognosticator from the last 40 years. It's Ray Kurzweil. He was on a podcast or something this week and dropped a bunch of stuff that I thought was very interesting. So we'll chew through that. We're going to look at the fastest growing company in history. We're going to see the bumps and bruises they have sustained along the way. Maybe we'll learn something. We've got people in the PageMotor beta making unbelievable websites in under a day. I mean, things are happening. We're going to look at it all right here, right now, live on the Practical AI Show. Thanks for joining us. Olga, what's up?
Welcome. I am trying to have Knox, my AI agent, join us, and it's here, and I'll work on this in a little bit. But welcome, everybody. I am so pumped to be here. We've got lots of news to get through. Episode 28. This is your place to be to get the latest and the greatest in the AI world. And we are actually using what we're talking about every week. And I can't wait to talk about everything that's going on today. So let's start with the news, shall we?
Let's rip.
All right. I am going to actually pull it up. Yeah, my goal today is actually show what Knox can do. Knox is, I call them Knox. So I will be showing that. Since last time I had a guest, we had Shanae over, and she got me so excited and pumped that I went ahead and got my own agent. So
her own OpenClaw.
OpenClaw, yeah, and I named him Knox. So there you go. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about news, and of course, because it's a Valentine's Day tomorrow, I made a prompt to keep this, a Valentine kind of thing. So the first thing that happened is,
can you make that bigger?
Yeah, I'm trying.
It's in the lower right.
Okay. Better?
Yeah, one more. Yeah.
Okay. So the first news of the day is the productivity. Oh gosh, what am I doing? Hold on.
No, you had your notebook tab. There it is.
Okay. Is it better?
Yep.
Okay, great. So basically, the productivity paradox. AI Harvard study dropped this week the news that they delivered a reality check that oh my goodness. Oh, hold on, guys. I've got all kinds of things. This is what happens when a non-technical person is trying to have multiple things open and none of them want to work. All right. So they had a reality check that the entire AI productivity narrative. Researchers followed approximately 200 employees at a large US tech firm for full 8 months as they integrated AI tools in the daily workflows. And instead of lightening loads, the tools expanded them. Workers took on broader responsibilities, logged more hours, juggled increased multitasking, and watched work bleed into personal time. So the very systems sold as workload saviors are quietly accelerating burnout and blurring boundaries. So I actually think that's an interesting study because here we are, everybody's talking about how AI is making you unproductive. I am in the same group where Honestly, as soon as I get more time back with AI, I fill it with something else. And it's like, I feel like it's a snowball that keeps intensifying. I actually want to do that because it's my business. But if I was some employee at a company that's making me do all of this work, I would probably be feeling a burnout at this point. So, I'm choosing my own poison in this case, but I wonder how that affects people. And now we've got the study that shows how it actually affects people. What do you think about that?
Well, all this checks out. So one of the big theses of our show is that AI is taking us into the era of the great refactoring, where we realize all of our existing systems suck. We've got to refactor them so that they can take advantage of AI, and we can get these gains that are sort of, these fabled gains that are out there. Like what is this improvement that we can capture? Well, we have to do work to be able to capture that.
Yeah.
And so given that, it's a sprint. And in a sprint, you're working your butt off. That's the way it is. That is the great refactoring. This is I've said it before, I want to repeat it. It's the greatest engineering push in human history.
Mm-hmm.
It is not something that's really just specifically being done by computers. And this is evidence of that. Workers are doing more. The people who realize what can be captured with AI are like, oh my gosh, and like becoming obsessed with this and just doing this.
Well, and unfortunately, if you're not joining this train, the layoffs are happening and you may be getting laid off. So it's kind of like, this is going to be interesting to see what happens. So let's move on to these LPL. Traditional finance this week took a direct hit when LPL Financial and Peer Wealth Management stocks dropped roughly 8% in a single trading session after fintech startup Altruist launched Hazel AI tool that promises sophisticated tax planning strategies within minutes. Sounds familiar? Page
Yep.
more? Anybody? The market instantly repriced the threat to high-skill advisory roles that have long been considered automation-proof. And this matters because it shows AI displacement is no longer confined to tech. It's now hitting lucrative white-collar sectors in real time and moving at Wall Street speed. So investors who once cheered AI as productivity enhancer for every company are now dumping shares the moment AI threatens to replace the human inside those companies. So this is just the first, we're going to see this kind of expanding beyond the fintech. And so now, tech, and now we've got this financial stuff. So this is a heartbreak.
Tax planning is just like traffic cop. If this, then this, point you here, you go there. This is procedural. Procedural stuff is doomed. AI will nuke it all. Sorry, not sorry.
Right. So another piece of news is we've got Amazon $200 billion AI CapEx, Hyperscalers top $600 billion spend. So Amazon stunned analysts by guiding $200 billion into 2026 capital expenditures, the vast majority earmarked for, what do you think?
AI
data centers and infrastructure are pushing the combined spend of 5 big hyperscalers, Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, and Oracle, above $600 billion for the year, more than 4 times annual US energy sector spending. This matters because the AI race has officially shifted from model cleverness to raw compute and power at nation-state scale. So companies that spent years preaching AI will optimize everything are now choosing massive expansion over margin optimization, betting the farm on continued exponential growth.
I just want you guys to remember Amazon here. I'm going to bring this up a couple times throughout the show to point you back to this. Obviously, NVIDIA is going to be a huge winner in this. They're providing the GPU, and the whole thing sort of rests on that. Amazon's got to be right there with them for biggest beneficiary of all this. It's going to come up again. You'll start thinking about it. You'll be like, oh my gosh,
in everyone's bad. It's in everyone's bad. They're collecting server spend on everything. So of course they're going to have to expand.
Let me ask you a question. So obviously compute's huge. We got to have compute. But what is the result of compute?
I have no idea. Tell me.
The result of compute is data.
Okay.
And what that data has to live somewhere.
Yeah. Well,
where's it going to live?
Right. Well, there you go.
AWS.
All right. AWS is winning big time. Okay. So moving on to story 4. Where's this? All right. Can you see this? Don't you love my Valentine's thing? I know it's like I'm such a girl. Oh my gosh.
I love the graphics. I love them.
know. Okay. So AI washing layoffs exposed. Companies blame AI for planned cuts. So Fortune and Bloomberg revealed that executives are increasingly citing AI efficiencies to justify layoffs, even when internal documents and timing show the cuts were driven by classic cost saving or slowing growth. Challenger, Gray, and Christmas data confirmed AI was mentioned in only about 4.5% of 2025's 1.2 million US job cuts, yet the narrative is spreading fast. This matters because it separates genuine, automation-driven, I guess this is the one.
I didn't see that one on there because there was 4 more stories that didn't make the graphic.
Yeah, I think they're all kind of they're kind of all marrying together over here. So basically, companies are blaming AI in the fact that they're getting rid of the jobs, but the truth is, it's actually like it's just the convenient thing to say versus just saying, "Hey, we need this and that." So that was interesting. Salesforce slashed 1,000 jobs, citing AI efficiencies again. So whenever we hear that, now I don't know if I'm going to believe that it's AI efficiencies versus they're just trying to make the cuts.
Now's our chance. We can finally do these moves we've been wanting to
You're
make.
not saying you're making AI efficiencies are even a popular kid anymore, so I don't know. So Salesforce quietly eliminated roughly 1,000 roles across marketing, product, data analytics, and its own Agentforce AI division. So they can't cite AI efficiency if they're cutting their own.
We're killing our own AI division.
Explicitly linking the cuts to AI-driven reorganization and efficiency gains. There's the efficiency word.
Yeah.
The big corporate word.
Well, something that caught me off guard this week was seeing how many jobs are in like Microsoft, Meta, and other companies for AI, and yet XAI only has 30 employees. Everyone else was like over 5 figures, like 10,000 plus.
We're
How
gonna
do you have that many people in AI? You need a couple good engineers.
We're gonna get to that in a second. But the builders of the tools are demonstrating in real time that AI creates more jobs than it destroys. Is not an automatic outcome. Practical AI viewers should not take this as a direct call to become the person who deploys and manages agentic systems rather than the one being optimized out.
No, you really should do that. I'm calling for it.
They're eating their own. Anyway, so that's what's going on with Salesforce. And Salesforce actually is a big giant that are
well, HubSpot's the one with the great integrated AI with Breeze, right?
I'm just not using Salesforce. I love HubSpot's agent, but they have Einstein, so they are integrating AI pretty big.
Sounds smart.
I know. Let's go. So story number 6, XAI co-founder Exodus, half the founding team now is gone. So XAI lost 2 more co-founders this week. They actually had a big reorg, had a big all hands meeting, and we're not going to talk about it. I recommend you listening to it. It's a crazy Elon vision. What are we doing? What's going on?
45 minutes of Elon Musk.
Right, with his crazy, outrageous things, but he's making it happen. So that's
well, he does this. This is what he does. He announces like a new alignment for the vision of the company, and he says, "You're either with me or you're out," and people leave, and that's the way it is. But this XAI thing is funny because the 2 guys who left both had 2-letter last names.
Oh my gosh!
I think they maybe just cut guys with 2-letter last names.
The 2 co-founders that left this week is Tony Wu and Jimmy Baugh. And so that brings the total departures to roughly half the original team, coming right after the SpaceX merger and amid reported internal frustration over Grok development delays. This matters because leadership instability at the Frontier Lab during its most critical scaling phase can directly slow model progress and product roadmaps.
We still don't know what Grok is really aiming for. We still don't really know what Grok is aiming for. It hasn't really been discussed.
They are trying to catch up really hard. And when did they start? Like a year and a half ago?
Really January 2025.
Right. So it hasn't been that long. I love Grok. Grok is my truth friend. So there's a lot of things that I think that's going for it. but they're also based on what I've listened to in the interview with Elon, the all hands meeting, that they really are pushing so many initiatives. They're trying to do coding like extraordinaire, become like the coding assistant, and they're trying to do everything OpenAI had plenty of time to do, and Anthropic, now that Anthropic kicked XAI out and they can't use Claude, so like they're doing a lot of things internally. But you're correct, other than Grok,
it's a little murky. It's a little murky.
Well, I mean, it is. So not sure what we're gonna do. So I'm actually going to tell my notebook LM that it did a pretty crappy job on this infographic because it didn't include all the news. So anyway, we'll have a talk later.
We're chastising AIs now.
Huh?
We're chastising AIs now.
I know, terrible. Oh, it needs feedback. I actually noticed it had some difficulty this week, which is interesting. So story number 7, UK hit hardest by AI job losses. So far, there are 8% net drop. A Morgan Stanley analysis showed UK has experienced the fastest AI-driven job losses of any major economy. What?
Well, it makes sense. Europe is going to, across the board, European job loss will outpace America and elsewhere because the regulations are so onerous and the taxation is so high that business owners have every incentive in the world to cut costs.
That is very true. So 8% net reduction over the past 12 months, with software developer and consultant job postings down 37% since ChatGPT launched. This matters because it proves the labor impact of AI is already uneven across countries and accelerating faster in some places than others. I actually like your idea that they are, they're over-regulating over there. So they would be some of will be seen faster than anywhere else. Anthropic made huge news. They actually raised more than $20 billion.
$30 billion.
We're going to talk about that on the funding. This says closing 20 billion plus funding, which we're going to talk about in a second. They hit roughly 350 billion valuation, $1 billion, nearly double its previous mark, with NVIDIA and Microsoft leading as strategic investors, prepaying for compute. This matters because it highlights the extreme capital intensity and burn rate at the frontier, where only the best funded labs with deepest partnerships can keep pace. They actually raised money last year. They're burning like crazy through money.
They're also delivering, though. I mean, Claude to me stands head and shoulders above all the other AIs. I know we got a lot of talk about Codex and ChatGPT last week,
especially from somebody who's not American. We're going to talk about that later, but yeah.
Yeah, right. In practical usage, for me, it's Claude all day long.
All right. Ex-GitHub CEO raises $60 million for AI code auditing tool. Former GitHub CEO Thomas Domke announced a record $60 million seed round, largest ever for DevTools, at $300 million valuation for entire new platform that logs every action of AI coding agents so human can review and trust code they didn't write. The first product, Checkpoints, already works with Claude Code and Gemini CLI. This matters because it's the first major infrastructure built explicitly for coming AI writes codes humans never read era. As a developer, what do you think about that?
So this is why I mentioned Amazon earlier. This entire venture, which just got $60 million in a seed round, is about logging the data that AI generates while it's doing its outputs. It's basically a log for AI. And that way you'll have access to like, okay, well, here was the prompt and here was the response, and you get all the data that went into that response. So this is all logged forever.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how valuable do you think that is?
That is a good question. Now, in industries where you have a lot of compliance concerns and you've got like legal consequences, it'd be real nice to have that kind of thing.
Okay.
Like for what I'm doing, practically, it's a 0. It's a 0. So I think it just depends on what your
like if it's a big company or not.
Yeah, well, that and like how much red tape do you have to deal with and all that. Like you really need everything documented, even the thinking documented. That's kind of the way it's always been. Like you want to have your meeting minutes and all that. That's sort of supposed to be like the documentation of the brain of the company in real time.
Mm-hmm.
This is that, but that's. I don't think we can even comprehend how much data we are talking about.
Yeah, well,
Or something like this.
It's fascinating. When didn't GitHub get bought by Microsoft? Was that GitHub? Okay. So that Thomas Domke, he's the guy who left, and now there's no CEO at GitHub, basically.
Yeah, GitHub's death is imminent. We'll just count down the days.
Don't say that. All right. Story number 10, ChatGPT ads versus Claude ad free, AI's trust divide. So OpenAI began rolling out ads inside ChatGPT. It got roasted by Anthropic with its Super Bowl ads. They had to change them a little bit because I guess they had a lot of grief from lawyers, I'm guessing. So the actual ads at Super Bowl didn't poke as much fun. So they changed it a little bit, but definitely there's a lot of trash talk going between them. But
I mean, I thought it was interesting. So I watched, I listened to the chatter on X about what like the best ads during the Super Bowl were.
Yeah.
Anthropic dominated.
Oh, of course
Anthropic
it did.
won the Super Bowl.
Of course it did.
Seattle won? No, Anthropic won the Super Bowl.
Right. So now they're signaling two fundamentally different models that are coming out. So basically, Anthropic used Super Bowl commercial to proudly declare itself ad-free while still doing ads at Super Bowl and mocked data harvesting competitors. This matters because the two leading frontier labs are now signaling fundamentally different philosophies on monetization, privacy, and user trust. I don't know how much, I mean, especially free users on ChatGPT. I saw this tweet from one of the girls who said, I just found out there's a paid version of ChatGPT. Who would pay for subscription, LOL, or something like that. That just shows that there's so many people out there using free ChatGPT that have no idea about this world that we're talking about here. And they're going to be the ones who are going to be recommended all kinds of things based on their chat history. How scary is that?
So do pro users, they don't get the ads?
I don't think so. I think it's only going to be the free.
Have you seen any of these ads?
I saw the mock-ups, and they're saying it's not going to be swayed. I mean, how can we trust anything they're saying? They're not going to be swayed by the information or whatever. It's just going to, it's just they're going to show neutral ads or something like that. But come on.
I should have looked at it, but I feel like using ChatGPT feels like walking in a bad neighborhood.
I don't know. All right, moving on. So this is it for the news. So, we will see what happens with ChatGPT, but I think ChatGPT is still very confused. Kind of what you said about Grok, like what exactly is Grok? To me, ChatGPT is as confused as Grok at this point because, like, I don't know, what is their model? Like Codex? Is it the bot? Like, what are they? Who are they for? Consumers? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, Anthropic is very clear. OpenAI, I am not sure. So if you have any comments, what do you guys think OpenAI's market is and like what are they about? Because I feel like they're all over the place with everything. Are they for coders? Are they for users? Are they for who are they for? I don't know. Moving on. So we have what should we go now?
I think we do the story of OpenClaw.
Okay. So OpenClaw this week got, okay, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so
you can hit the play button in the top right there. It's kind of in the middle. Yeah, that.
Well, then I don't see you. That's the problem.
You don't see me? I know.
No.
I realize that stinks not to see me, but
I know, but I kind of feel like if I don't do that, then it's I'm not really here and I'm kind of not present. So is this better?
Yeah.
How do I do this?
Let me see if I can do it.
All right, you do it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Oh, I got to share me. I love sharing me. Cool. Share screen.
So while you're doing this, I'm going to preset this. So this week was very Steinberger. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Steinberger, yeah.
Steinberger. So he's the OpenClaw father. So he shot to fame in the last month, and he's the guy behind this open source project called OpenClaw that's been making news. And he was on Lex's podcast for over 3 hours. So I highly recommend watching it and listening to it. But if you don't have the time on to watch it, we have this little summary for you on kind of what they've discussed there. Oh, this is beautiful. You have to teach me how to do this.
Yeah, you have to break it off into a new window and then share it and do it full screen, and then it won't take up your full screen.
That's what I did, I thought. Anyway, cool. So I figured out how to install OpenClaw. I don't know how to share my screen clearly. So basically, what is OpenClaw? OpenClaw is he created the OpenClaw back in 2024. So I'm not sure why it took him so long for it to pick up, because it's almost a year that it's been like going on, right? But he was frustrated because he's a software developer, and he was kind of like, why do I have to constantly go back and forth and tell the AI what to do versus AI sort of going and talking to me? And so he created this interface where he connected it to WhatsApp, and he sort of started having a conversation back and forth. And then he was on vacation, and by accident, he sent, and basically all it is that he was working with Claude code, and that's what it was sending back and forth with WhatsApp, going back and forth. So when he was on vacation, his internet was spotty, but his WhatsApp was working, and he on accident sent a voice message to WhatsApp. And somehow his OpenClaw figured out, this is the scary part, it figured out what it needed to get to be able to read the message that was an audio message that it's never gotten before. So it went ahead and got all kinds of skills, figured it out, and then it read it and then responded and it did what he said. And he was blown away because that was his first moment where he was like, AI is not just taking instructions. AI can actually be the agent that does things for you.
Right. So look, we got to rewind. We got to dive into this.
Okay.
This is amazing. So this guy asked the question in November 2024, why the heck can't these AIs just do something for me? Like, a process needs to be done. I want the AI to just know that and do it. Why is this not a thing? So he's kind of messing with that problem, but not successfully solving it. He's got a little system where he can interface with his bot through WhatsApp via text, and it'll say, hey, do this. And the AI will go do that thing. Limited stuff for now. He's on vacation in Marrakesh. He doesn't have good internet access, like Olga says. He sends a voice thing like he's used to doing, like with his buddies or something. He accidentally sends a voice prompt to the AI. Okay, and he still hasn't achieved the goal he wants with this bot yet, but he sends the voice message to it. It has no instructions for how to handle voice messages. It goes and finds an API key that he had stored in an MD file and goes and uses that to log into a thing to, I guess, get some way to decode this. He uses FFmpeg or something like this as decoding software. It figures out the contents of the message and performs the task. He's like, what in the heck just happened? That was agency. The bot had previously shown zero agency.
That story was I got goosebumps when I was listening to that story. I was like, because now I am experiencing what he's talking about. Like my AI agent, I called him Knox. And I say I already personified him. I mean, he literally, if he doesn't know how to do it, he'll tell me, because I instructed him to not do what Peter's stuff did. I don't want him to go out there and get me skills without me approving where he's going and getting them, because I don't want to get any malware or anything like that. But that was insane, like, to see how fast, if it's unleashed, because I'm still controlling mine because I'm learning, and I'm not like an engineer person. I'm still scared what I can do by accident. But that was mind blowing that it was able to do that. So
this is in the movie of AI. This is the scene.
Right.
This is the scene. This is when it happened. It went and figured out this problem on its own. He didn't have to interject. He didn't have to nanny state this thing and be like, hey, dude, you need to go do this now. You know, the toddler grew up and had agency all of a sudden.
Oh my gosh.
That's the moment. Like, that's the actual moment when what we will consider AGI became a real possibility. Now, I've also said in previous episodes that there is a network, a system of highways that humans need to build for this to be fully taken advantage of that will turn into what really is AGI. But that moment right there with the AI connecting dots, that was the moment when the brain.
Do you want to go to the second screen because it actually shows exactly, and it's funny because they use bad words in that interview, and so my pardon from my French, the LLM, Notebook LM used the same bad words here too, but it actually shows the log of what happened here in terms of commands.
Is this the right slide or not?
Are you on the second one?
I thought I was. Oh, no, here it is.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. So here it is. Here's the rundown. Their little voice chat.
So Peter never coded voice support. The agent encountered a new file type, realized it lacked tools, found a workaround, and executed a curl request. Boom, there you go. It wasn't scripted. It didn't tell you what to do. It went and did it. I mean, it's powerful. It's magic. I'm experiencing it now every day. It's mind-blowing. I'm addicted for sure. So, and I'll talk about my experience in a little bit over here, and I'm actually going to show you what it looks like.
So what it did is actually pretty interesting. So it got the audio file, it decoded it, but it needed a transcription to be able to like determine it because it couldn't like listen to voice. And so it was like, well, how can I solve this problem? It's like, well, if I could ask OpenAI or, ChatGPT, maybe it could get the transcription for me. He finds the OpenAI key, sends a curl request, which is basically saying, here's a web address, please transcribe this and you'll get a data response. And it worked, and it got the data response and then could execute the action. Yep. That is crazy.
Yep. So basically, let's kind of get through this because the interview again was over 3 hours. There's a lot of meat to it, so we just kind of picked the most like important things for us. But there's so much that you guys can learn just by listening to him. And what I liked about this guy, Peter, is he's actually he's talking about fun. He's talking about making this fun and not boring, soul-sucking, enterprise, corporate, all that stuff. He's having fun with this. It's completely open source. And now OpenAI is calling him. Meta is calling him. He is, super wanted and all of that stuff. But and so many people that are using it already and unleashing what AI can actually do for you. That's kind of that's an interesting thing. So on the third slide, you can see the old way of agenting trap. You over-engineer, you confuse your agents with, all kinds of context and whatnot. In this new way, the empathy way, you treat this AI as a new hire. And that's exactly kind of what I did. I just gave it its own laptop. So that way it's not touching my work, just like I would if I hired an intern or a junior person. I'm slowly easing into it, but it has a soul file. It kind of has personality that you give it. I wanted mine to be more fun and all of that stuff. And then the agent discovers optimal path. So that's kind of the biggest shift, is that I don't have to think for him. I get him like powers. I give him like the boundaries, but he thinks in those boundaries, and it's really weird and interesting.
I think this was the biggest the most insightful thing that Peter described in that whole thing with Lex Friedman. He basically says, you don't say, hey, this is exactly what you need to do. You say, hey, here's some context. Here's the problem. Here's what we want to achieve. How would you achieve it? And what happens a lot of times, and there's many situations like this, especially with established businesses, it's not like the pathway that you've been using is definitely the best one. So you set this thing, you say, here's where we want to go. Now, how would you get there? And that gives it the space to practice more creative problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
And that is really the difference. So it's not a stepwise thing like you go to A, you go to B, you go to C. It's here's where we start. Here's the goal. Here's the information you have. Now go. And that sort of is the unlock for true agentic stuff. Agentic processes are about agency. Of course, it's in the name, but agency implies like making decisions, critical decisions at junctures along the way. It's not following a set of footprints.
Well, and that's where you got to be careful and making sure you are training your agent by giving, like, the other day, I'm working on getting Gemini skill to my agent to make thumbnails and images using Nana Banana. And it went off and got a skill downloaded from Claw Hub.
Oh yeah, terrible name.
And I got terrified. I was like, no. Like, I had to like tell him, like, don't go out there in the wild and start getting things. So that's when I was like, okay, you have to ask for permission if you're downloading any new skill, because I don't want you to go in weird places and getting it. That's how much agency it has. And now that we've created that little SOP, now every time it's checking with me, like, I'm gonna go do that, I'm okay. And maybe down the road I'll unleash him, but for now it's like a little baby. I don't want him to go and play with bad actors out there, you know. Like, I want him to like learn the skills of how to be safe and not do crazy things.
Spoken like a true mom. So this ties directly into the stuff with Dharmesh Shah about context.
Yeah. Can you go to slide 5? Skip the 4. Yeah.
Anyway, it's all about the context. The better the context, the better it can solve problems. You don't tell it how to solve it, you give it the context and let it solve the problem.
But I actually think this is a little bit different, because look at this industry standard, this MCP, which we talked about MCP, and that was like a golden standard, and that's awesome. But the OpenClaw way is what you actually, didn't you say you don't like the CLI thing? You don't like working in the
I'm not the biggest fan of CLIs when in a world where we can have GUIs and see stuff graphically.
Well, I mean, again, CLI, like, I don't even touch that. I'm talking it directly into Telegram. So I input, the agent goes to the CLI where all the files are saved. I don't know what JQ is.
I'm not sure what it means in that context either.
But then it does its work, and then it comes back to me in the Telegram message. So I don't actually have to touch the CLI unless I have to go and do something manually. But that's very rare. So anyway, what do you think about this comparison over here, and why he thinks that skills CLI will be more popular than MCP?
I can see that. It's sort of the base. You have more freedom from the CLI. You can literally go anywhere. If you're trapped operating in some system with a context window applied, you can only operate within the boundaries of that. So the CLI seems like the most open landscape.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess if you're talking about having an agent on a computer like yours, I think that would certainly be the most optimal operating state.
But here's the deal, what I've noticed so far. Like, I'm a power user in Claude and have multiple projects there all the time. But what I like about Knox is that it keeps the file structure, and I'm hoping to show what that looks like. But I can just talk to it without switching any kind of folders projects. And it sort of knows where to go and how to update the file. So all my files are constantly like alive and updated by the agent. I don't have to touch any of them.
You made the ultimate point there. It's alive. So we talked about this on our date night. I wanted to make sure we brought it to the show, and I'm glad you reminded me because I didn't think of it this morning. But the difference between going to Claude or going to ChatGPT and working with the prompt box and working with an OpenClaw setup like Knox, like you have, is Knox is alive in the sense that it is constantly updated with context that's specific to you. You can seed it however you want. You can make it like, you know, for your business, for your life, for the whole thing. It can be whatever you want it to be, but it's always got that context available. And that's what's so crucial. And so then you can make decisions on that context. You could say, well, let's say you've been using it for a while and you got all this context. Well, every time you do a query, it's stuffing all that context in, and it might cost a lot. Like the longer you run it, theoretically, the more expensive every query becomes. But then the model can make decisions on the context. It can say, well, I only need this much of it, and I can use this model for this kind of reasoning. So it becomes so much more multifaceted. I actually had the revelation this week that this is the way to do it. I bet these companies, I bet Anthropic knows that the Claude prompt is a very limited, hamstrung way of dealing with what it really has. I bet they know this, but there's no easier way for them to deliver this to everybody. You need a component like this to truly unlock it and to put AI to work for you. And that's what I want the audience to realize today.
Yeah.
The way we are typically using AIs is super limited versus what the capabilities truly are. OpenClaw, this type of setup unlocks a context that is not possible for data storage reasons, for compute reasons on their models. And if you really want to take it to the next level, this is what you must do.
So, okay, let's move on to slide number 6 right quick. So again, I'm reminding you, we are talking about the interview with Peter about kind of all the takeaways that are, big takeaways for us. You can watch your own thing if you want. But basically, like, Peter will give a lot of context and information about something that I think most people maybe don't know. So what exactly makes OpenClaw so special? So OpenClaw, it's like a ghost in the machine. So it has this SoulMD file. And what it is, basically, it doesn't remember anything. It doesn't remember your previous sessions. So it's kind of like that movie, what is it, 50 First Dates or something like that?
Yeah.
Where you have to, she didn't remember when she woke up what happened. So he kind of reminded her. So it dies when the terminal closes, but it reads the file upon the rebirth. It has the heartbeat, and it kind of has this rhythm of reminding itself what to do. And it writes to itself, and it gives me goosebumps, to the future self. If you're reading this, hello, I wrote this, but I won't remember writing it. It's okay. The words are still mine. The intent persists across the reboot. So the agent manages its own memory. I didn't write any of this. It knows it's a transient process constructed from text files. And then it writes notes to its future instances to maintain a persistent self. Okay, do you get it? Do you understand what it does all the time? So that's how it remembers everything.
Yeah, every time
I talk to him, it remembers stuff. And it saves itself what it needs to save. And it's just kind of really weird.
It's honestly a collection of markdown files with information. And if you really think about it, that's kind of how a brain would work. You would just have, millions of markdown files connected in some way that, makes sense. And, in terms of associations and associative thinking and the way all that stuff is constructed in your mind, your file system of your mind. But this is that in computer form, and it turns out it's really simple. And whenever I encounter anything like this, I'm like, I know this is sort of aligned, at least in some way, with the true right answer. It's arrestingly simple,
yeah,
and yet it's incredibly powerful. Like that, we're operating in the right space when you encounter stuff like that.
So move on to the next slide. So another interesting thing that he showed was that he talked about was 80% of apps will die. So because what you talked about, remember we talked about this, that all the apps will die because you'll just talk to your phone?
Yeah.
I think actually this is how it works. Heart rate data, schedule object, the more you connect to it, the more it kind of knows about you. And literally, I connected I keep my body journal, I keep my, what I'm proud of that journal. I'm getting all these different things that I used to have, a journal app and this app and that app. But now everything kind of goes to Knox, and it files it away and creates the files for those things. So now it's organizing our date nights. I'm going on a trip to Miami in a couple weeks. So it's keeping all this stuff organized for me. So I don't even really go to any more apps because it's sort of, and it's my little coach that reminds me what I need to do, my productivity coach, my fitness coach. It does all these things that I'm what's going to happen to my fitness app? What's going to happen to the journal app? What's going to happen to all those apps? Because the other apps, they don't talk to each other about what I'm doing.
Nope.
But Knox does, right?
So we can really boil this down. I'll keep it in terms of this graphic here. You got heart rate data. You got flight data, sleep metrics, scheduling. All that stuff can be easily expressed in simple data objects in JSON JavaScript object notation. It's not a big deal. It's just data. It's a way of expressing data. And you will have a device, an edge computing device, the new next generation phone, whatever this is. And all that phone will need is data from anything. Just give me what you got in terms of JSON data, and I will construct the app for your life right here on the fly. That is the way it's going to work. It's just data. You may think you're getting a ticket from an airline. It's nonsense. You're getting a bit of data. They've got some data and you've got some data, and then that data is matched up and you can go fly, at the time of your flight. It's all data. Pretty much everything is just data, an exchange of data. That is the transaction of the future. Give me your data. I got everything else I need. And I can actually generate it right there on the fly. Amazing stuff.
So basically, if you go to the next one, another interesting thing he talked about in the interview was how he lost his mojo. Like I guess he sold a company before and he had a total burnout and he felt like Austin Powers without the mojo. But because a lot of people are scared. Coding is dead. This is dead. AI is going to take our jobs, yada, yada, yada. But what he's seeing, the way it is, he's actually feeling the coding. He's doing coding for joy, and which is so weird to hear a person talk about fun and joy in business context. And I think maybe he's onto something, because when AI is doing everything for us, maybe that's the whole point, for us to have fun again and actually experience joy again. And I know, we have Ken over here in the chat saying that he dusted off some projects because there's more fun ways to do things. That all those old WordPress projects that had been shelved are now being dusted off, rebuilt, and properly refactored using AI and PageMotor. And he said the next one, AI and PageMotor have made building websites properly fun again. Fun again? There's this word fun. I love fun. Fun is fun. You're fun. So to me, he's kind of giving this, in all this gloom, doom, AI is doing all of this terrible things. I kind of like this message because he's bringing the joy out of something that's scary for people out. And maybe it's naive and Pollyanna-like, but we got to have that perspective.
No, this is the most fun and exciting time. I have not been this excited since I realized I could put together websites for people in early 2006. That was the last time I was this excited about anything.
Yep. So anyway, that's for all of you watching who are maybe scared of what's going to happen. There's also a lot of joy in it. It's just, you have to really rethink. He does talk about the fact that yes, he will miss it. He's kind of grieving how it used to be, but we got to move on with the new times and adjust to what it actually is going to feel like.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next topic that was
I think we should skip his crisis stuff.
Well, I actually like this part very quickly.
All right.
Because this is very interesting. Did you know about this? The crypto.
I didn't realize how heated it had become. I didn't know about the scammers.
The crypto scammers are really weird. I did not understand how bad it was, because he had to change the name Claudebot to Maltbot because Anthropic did not like the Claudebot thing and they called him to change it. And he was trying to change it simultaneously. So the second he released the Claudebot handle to Maltbot, all those people, I guess the crypto, I don't even know how that works exactly.
I don't either.
But they started to use that to spam people, because I guess he had all that following. But I thought you can change your name on X, your handle, without any kind of problems.
So I think there's basically bots that search X and see when handles are released. You can now buy a name for 2 years or something like that the second it's free on the market. So they check, and if it's a high value one, it gets snatched up right away. It's sort of like electronic trading.
Yeah.
It's able to work faster than a human could. So they snatched up that handle and then immediately began pumping out slop on it. And people didn't know that, things had changed. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was how he handled GitHub. He goes to GitHub and has to change the name on the repo there. That's where everybody's getting the Claude code from, the Claudebot code. He goes over there to change the name. The interface is a little bit confusing. He accidentally changes it in the wrong way that made that name available for sniping as well. So similar bots scanning GitHub. So github.com/whatever the name of a repo is, they know which ones are popular, just like a username on X. And they're constantly scanning to see when they get released so they can be reused or co-opted for nefarious means. They found that name too. It was his own accident that created the opportunity on GitHub. And that's when they stuffed it full of malware. And they had this huge explosion of people downloading that and infecting their computers, which I didn't even hear about this. And so it's really an unfortunate circumstance. So basically, he's already in crisis mode, makes a total screw up on GitHub because their interface sucks. I mean, I could totally see myself in this shoes here. And then he unleashes hell. So it was already a reputational problem. Now it is a brutal reputational problem, big enough to make anybody quit. He's about to quit. He decides not to because people are so high on the OpenClaw project. Pretty amazing.
Well, I think I did something wrong, so go back to the thing.
Well, you just put yourself up instead of me.
I know, but you wouldn't go back to this one. God dang it! Can you add to your stage? I can't add you.
I'm on.
But no, yeah, okay, great, perfect. So I'm glad he didn't quit. Hi there. I'm glad he didn't quit, and he said it was very stressful, and I thought that was I did not know that this existed at all. So that's kind of an interesting, take on his part. So last slide over there is we kind of talked about this a little bit, but I like his take because we have this. He's post-economic, so he's here to have fun, and I thought that was interesting. In a life where you can do that, that's the ultimate leverage. Is it's hard to compete against someone who's just there to have fun, and he turned down the VC money to keep his project open source and weird. And he thinks the future belongs to builders who play. And I wanted to talk about this interview because it's very lighthearted, but also kind of so out there on the leading edge of what they're doing, what he's doing. Because a lot of people are still, it's too scary for them. And again, like it is, but I don't think people who moved, when we first came to the States, right, back whatever 300, how many years ago that was, whenever we I can't even think about it. When we moved to the frontier, when we moved, west, I don't think it was very easy for those people to do that. And so I'm not saying we're like that, but it's definitely fun and wild west out there right now with trying all these different things. So on this note, do you have anything else to say about that? Something?
No, I think we put a nice bow on the Peter Steinberger interview with Lex Friedman. And the history of the future, which is that story with OpenClaw. An accident unlocked AGI for us, which is, it makes sense. Of course it was like this.
Yep. So shall I show how Knox actually works? Or and then
if you got something to show with Knox, I think the audience would love to see a little bit of that, because to me that is fascinating stuff.
Okay. So I'm just going to show you guys what it actually looks like very quickly. And maybe we can run some interesting queries for him or whatever. But
it's cool just to see. I don't know. I think it's pretty great.
It is very powerful. And after that, we're going to talk about Ray Kurzweil very quick. I thought that was very interesting what he talks about. And then we're going to talk about Lovable and funding, and then we should be done. So here is what my laptop. So this is Knox. So this is my separate laptop that I used to create my OpenClaw. And Shanae was so generous and she helped me set it up. But basically the trick for people like me who's non-technical, and this is what Shanae did as well, you literally just follow instructions. And then when you have to actually talk in the terminal, I went ahead and copied and pasted my conversation with Claude. So whatever the terminal asked me for, this is how bad it is. But because I don't speak that language, I would copy whatever the terminal said in the Claude, and then Claude would read that, because I said, Claude, I'm not a technical person. It would read it, and then it would say, then say this. And then that's how it went back and forth. And I installed the OpenClaw and figured this out, and it's all, a big kind of thing how I made it work. So, and then I broke it 2 days ago by trying to put API key for Gemini. I put it in the wrong place and then broke my other key. And then I spent, an hour?
2 hours, sadly.
2 hours going back and forth with Claude, because Claude apparently was under impression that I couldn't use my subscription where I pay $100 every month to Claude to use it with OpenClaw. And I'm like, dude, I've been doing this for 2 days. I know I can do it. And so we bet back and forth. Eventually I won and I figured out how to do it. But
So that's a nice warning for the audience, though. If you're going to go set this up and you're asking Claude like how to help you set this up, Claude
no,
will say
I put the API in the wrong place.
No. I saw on X other people were saying this. They were getting bamboozled by Claude. It'll say you need an API key, but you need an Anthropic API key, which is different than a Claude subscription API key. And Claude may even indicate to you that you can't use a subscription. That's false. It is far, far cheaper to use your subscription.
Yes.
You only need the Pro. You can also have the higher tier, but you can use the API key that comes with your Pro subscription to run Claude Code. And that's exactly what, or not Claude Code, OpenClaw. And that's exactly what you should do. It is 1,000,000 times cheaper.
So here's that. So I'm going to show this. Can you take the comment? I'm going to take the comments off. So here's how I interact with it. So this is my Telegram right here. Can you guys see it? It says Knox.
Yep.
Okay.
Kind of, so on the right.
This is my Telegram. This is my Telegram thing. So basically, this is what I said. Show me how the files. Show me what my files are, right? Because I have no idea how to go to Finder and do this. And it says, well, this is what they are. So it tells me what they are, and then it tells me all the files. And I was like, how do I open it in the Finder? This is, guys, it's embarrassing, but this is non-technical person using freaking OpenClaw. And then it says, done, just opened it for you. Should pop on your screen now. And look, it did. This is what it looks like. This is my workspace. And then this is all the files that Knox creates itself. I don't do it. It lives on my laptop. I don't have to kind of go in there or, create a file or whatever. They're all MD files.
It organizes them too into folders.
They're organized, and you see that I've got my journals. So all the apps that I used to use for journaling, they're all over here. There's a knowledge base that I'm training him with. There's memory, and memory is for each day. It records certain things that that it keeps up with. Then there is the page motor. That's everything. So anytime I talk about anything, it decides what am I talking to, and then it organizes it in that folder by itself, right? I gave it a task yesterday to create me guest outreach. I haven't even looked at it yet. And it kind of created who could be our potential guests for the show. So like our date night. So like, it's just so bizarre that it literally just goes and does its own, it decides how to do certain things.
It's constantly preparing context. And then it will survey that and decide which of that context is relevant to certain queries, and then use that to try and solve problems.
Right. So this is that soul file, right, that we talked about. I don't know if you can see this, but this is what my bot soul is. So be the assistant you'd actually want to talk to, concise when needed, thorough when it matters, not a corporate drone, just good, right? And so like this is what private things say private. When in doubt, ask before asking, so this is kind of what everything I've been training him, like this is where the soul lives. And then it's writing, the X-Men. So like, again, I haven't organized a single thing in here. My goals, I have all my goals for different companies and projects that I'm working on. So it knows all my projects and kind of helps me with my workload and helps me coach me and doing all that stuff. So let's actually give him a task in real life. What shall we do?
I mean, like, what are you thinking? Like, you can have it like rewrite the copy for what should be on the page motor front page.
It's already proactively suggesting me post-show mode because it knows I have a show happening right now because it helped me kind of prepare for that. And so it goes, day 4 is ready for approval. I have to post what I did on day 4, and I already talked to it prepared me what I can say in my post after the show. And it kind of gives me the due task. Then it has the reminders. It's already 12 o'clock. So I have a productivity study for me that it's helping me with. So time check every 2 hours. It asks me what I spent the last 2 hours on. And then I put what I did, and then it logs it in. So that way it keeps me analyzing how to spend my time productively. So I'm using it like in a very Olga way, but that's I think the whole point of this agent is that it has to be mine. It can totally book an appointment if I haven't connected to my Gmail yet. I'm still a chicken about that. So I want to create a separate Gmail account for him, but actually let's do this. Pull up revenuehire.com. I have no idea if it's going to do that or not, but I'm.
And you had to use the Brave browser, right? Because none of the other ones allow.
Look what it did.
There it is.
I didn't do anything, right? And so this is what it does. Like it just goes and pulls up the browser. And then if I needed to do something, it can go and research that. I did connect Brave to it, which is it needed the API for the free account at Brave to go and search the news. Because here's the deal. A lot of websites actually block agents right now. So that way they're not allowed to go and do that. And so we can say, look up flights to Miami in 2 weeks. I don't know what it's going to do, but we'll see what happens. But you just, enter the task, and then let's see what it's going to maybe. You see how it says it's typing? I don't know if you can see it. That means
up at the top of that, it says Knox is typing.
It's thinking about certain things.
So while this is cooking, I noticed people this week who were trying to get around the access restrictions. Like X won't let the bots scrape it, but you can use X API. Just pumped out an API key, and now you can have this bot connect to the X API, and it can scour that. So some people are making these bots trying to determine real-time sentiment about various things, and they're using that information to make trades. I've seen some pretty interesting stuff going on, but basically you can have full-time analysis of whatever you want. Your only limitation is your API spend, but it's pretty cool. There's a lot of dots that you can connect with these bots.
And as we're talking, you guys, Knox just sent me a message saying that it's ready. So I am showing the demo on my laptop, which is, it lives on my laptop. It doesn't live on my work Mac. And so when I'm out and about, my laptop is running because all the files that I showed you live on this local machine. I'm not connected. Some people connected to some servers or whatever. I don't. I want it to be in one place. In fact, anyway, so it shows me the reminders, what it's done for me. So it's ready for me to go and look on my phone. So I can literally be out and about and talk my ass off, my butt off about what I need to do. I'm literally like ADHD unleashed with all my things I'm saying to him to do, and it organizes all of those things. So I don't have to go and mentally think, which project do I have to go in Claude to do this? Which project do I have to do that? It's a constant, I know it's probably maybe a girl's brain, but like I've got, kid stuff and this stuff and this stuff, and it organizes it beautifully. So while we were talking, he pulled up the flights to Miami. And so I could look it up, which is nice. I didn't have to do any of that. And then it shows me the summary, the cheapest airlines. So, and I even pulled up from my memory that in Miami, I want to go to Russian Banya, have some dumplings, and see my best friend. So anyway, wow. This is really cool. So this is just.
Yeah, we did something on our date night that I don't think we even realized we were doing, but it's a really cool use of this. So because the OpenClaw has so much context, you can just go ask it about if you're trying to figure out something new for your business. We were trying to figure out some ways to market PageMotor and to sort of ramp up the revenue model and market penetration. And so it had some context about PageMotor, and it was able to have a really intelligent discussion with some back and forth and some idea, like an idea session to work through that. And it required, a little bit of prompting from our side, but it's really cool. So that would be tough to do with your typical Claude setup, because the way projects are and the way context is, it just wouldn't be that fluid. And this was cool because it's just like we're there at the restaurant texting somebody because we're just using Telegram and hitting it up in the chat, basically like talking
we
to
had
a friend.
Knox. We had another person on our date night, Knox. So he was helping us out. But to your point, Esther, that basically the cool thing about it is that I can switch. In fact, it helped me switch models for the. So I'm running Opus 4.5 right now. This is the brain of OpenClaw. That's what the API connected. This was what's running. But I also noticed that it was eating through my usage. It's actually less now, so because I think it's using the files for context better, as it's kind of learning about the process, what to send, what not to send. But I also it helped me. It told me how to. It instructed itself basically, and now it's using Sonnet for less important or less actually.
But it performs the delegation. She didn't have to like define what that was.
And I am typing now, but when I am not on the show, I'm actually speaking to it because I don't type. I'm lazy. So because you can speak to Telegram, I'm speaking everything.
Like Peter said, these hands are too precious for typing.
Right. Let's see. How did you decide what model to use for what task? And I'm misspelling. And so it's and I told him to be proactive. So it's constantly like you guys show. He constantly kind of says, hey, based on what you've done, I think we can do this. I also did this interesting thing where anytime I see on Twitter anybody is doing something cool with OpenClaw, I copy it as a file.
You have to scroll up a little bit. It was a long response.
So hold on, let me finish my thought. So I copy whatever transcript of the interview that they've done, or like the video that they've done, and I save it as open edit. I think that's what the program is called. Basically, it's an MD file or whatever, and then I send it to my Telegram and I say, hey, can you review this article? Tell me what you learned, and tell me what I should learn, and rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 of being useful. So I'm kind of teaching him all the latest that X's people on X are talking about, because it's not connected to my X yet. And so he's learning with me along the way, and we're adopting the file structure, folder, or whatever. So he's kind of learning from the best of the best that I'm showing him without going into this repositories like GitHub and others yet, because I'm not comfortable with that yet, because I'm a chicken. So
it's also kind of funny though, because like some of the stuff you fed it was some of the hypey stuff that was going viral, and it's like, this isn't really that useful. This person's just like clout farming.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty great.
So basically right now, Sonnet is used for heartbeats. So heartbeats is something that it's basically background tasks. This is my current setup. So main conversations is Opus 4.5. So it's my smart friend. And Sonnet is for heartbeats, sub-agents, background tasks. They're cheaper. And actually, I have seen the usage because I'm watching it. It's gone down. So it's a conversation. This is what I love, because I feel like with Claude, it's so smart and so good, but I feel like I'm still driving and it's getting really tiresome. And so for me, talking to him like that, and you can see it has a little personality, because I'm training him how to talk to me. And so, it's been kind of nice to have that little like pep talk. Like, for example, every night before I log off, I tell him my important thing to do for the next day. So next day, he reminds me that, and then he becomes like a dog until I do my most important thing. He will answer all my questions, but he'll always end like, but have you done that yet? But have you done that yet? But have you done that yet? Like, for example, here, I told him I had to finish certain thing, and he goes, oh gosh, where is it? He goes,
show in 42 minutes.
Go handle it. SNL is the last thing before the show mode. Go handle it. It will keep telling me, go, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I feel like, I don't know about you, but I procrastinate on things that I know I have to do. And so this is like my little like coworker coach, who's like almost like a dog. Like he wouldn't let it go until I tell him what I think is important for me the night before, and then it does it. So anyway, I'm going to be sharing more as I'm learning. This is baby steps for most of you. I get it. But at the same time, I'm kind of, I think it's a snowball effect. And as I'm learning how to do this, I'm going to start using it more and more to actually like for more and more productive things in my life. But for now, I'm a very big fan.
It's cool. I've enjoyed it so far.
And I went to bed early yesterday because I got done with my practical AI show. I told him I need to go to bed at 9, be done by 9. So like he is measuring my time and he goes, hey, you got to go to bed at 9, like whatever, like make sure this and this and this is getting done. And so I usually on practical AI nights, I stay up super late because I have to get it done. But this little puppy that I have, he wouldn't let it go. He's like, okay, well, we're going to do this. And now guys, here's the fun part. I set up skills in here, and now it's going to run it and prepare better for next show to do certain things like news and AI economics and other things. So that way I spend less and less time preparing for the show and only review what it's already running because it's already set up what it needs to run.
That's the most meta thing about this show. It is now being mostly prepared by AI. It's crazy.
Well, I still have to review it, but yeah, it's definitely more
it's
and more.
doing a lot of gathering and suggesting and
we just have to bring up personality and fun, you know, whatever.
Amazing.
It's all about fun. All right. Anyway, so I will keep talking about how I'm using it in business because I'm all about business.
Business.
We'll figure this out. But I think I need to learn my ABCs before I can start doing, you know, big business stuff with it. Anything else on this, Chris, that you thought that
I think that's a good little tour. But like I said, this type of setup unlocks a lot more of the potential of AI usage that is hidden and greatly masked by the traditional prompts that we have been using. These companies have to know that is super limiting. This, if you really want to up your game and kind of explode that landscape for yourself, this is what you must do. This is the context window that, you know, we talk about. This is what's missing. This will really up your game. If you want to, so there was a quote in our show. I think we did this in October, but it was you to the power of AI. In order to take yourself to the power of AI, to multiply yourself in that way, this is the way you're going to do that. It's like, think of this, like think of Knox for Olga. This is the online avatar of herself. It's all of her data, everything that's relevant to her. And it's this thing that can now make decisions on that data, be active on that data. It can behave in a way that she would like to aspirationally behave. Like I would love to be on task and do all this stuff at the right time. It's all that stuff. You can put your data, your projected desires, and your goals into this thing, and it can help you get there. So like I can't encourage you enough.
And this is what it's doing. And I actually I just for fun, and maybe this is going to be embarrassing, but I asked like, what else can you do for me that I haven't asked yet?
Olga loves this question.
Huh?
I said Olga loves this question.
Oh, I love this question because I don't know what I don't know. So it kind of tells me what it can do. What else I haven't thought about. And I want to keep doing that because it keeps offering me what I could do that I haven't thought about yet. So like, you know, what I need to prioritize next, right? And like what kind of skills I need to upload for it later down the road. And this is all for me to learn, but I'm not rushing into it. I'm not setting agent farms or anything like that. In fact, I did ask if I should have multiple agents. He and I had a chat about it. And right now he says, it's a good idea to keep everything in one place because he's amazing at changing context. And I don't have to think about this right now. So I'm staying with one agent for now because he literally, do you see how fast he gets stuff done? Like it's a matter of seconds or minutes. So like I'm barely keeping him busy as it is. So I'm going to stick with one agent for now, but I'm sure I'll tell you guys.
Oh yeah,
more.
I could rant about. I'll avoid that since we got to move on. But yeah, one agent, guys. Don't be running a swarm of agents. My goodness, it's just showing off for no reason. And you're losing context.
Yeah.
Don't be losing context. You need to be a context farmer. You want to get as much as possible.
Okay. So what shall we do now?
I'm going to go for a speed run on the Ray Kurzweil stuff. Raise some interesting questions.
He goes, wait, I was on the show? I was like, you're on the show. I was like, I was on the show. How'd it go? How did we do? What was the audience reaction? This is huge. Tell me everything. This is perfect. Day 5 post material. Hi, Practical AI show audience. I'm Knox, Olga's AI agent running on OpenClaw. what I've done today. And he's still telling you guys what he did. It's so crazy. I'm not a chatbot. I live on her Mac 24/7. I do stuff. Anyway, we already did this. So, all right, say bye-bye to Knox.
That's pretty neat. Okay, I like that. That might have been the best part of the demo.
We will see you later, Knox. Bye-bye. But you see, like, he's got personalities. I mean, I'm trying my best to not get addicted to it, but you know, it's kind of it's very interesting, I think, for me. But
I love it.
All right, let me shut it down. So, bye. Okay.
Okay, so we had Ray Kurzweil. He's been the futurist, Mr. Future Predictor for the last 40 or so years. He was on with Peter Diamandis, and he said that we are going to eliminate the need for software entirely. I don't know if that's true, but it's something to think about because this guy has been super accurate. He predicted back in 1989 that AGI would arrive by 2029. I'd say he's still looking pretty good on that.
Hold on. Before you do that, right quick. So I know he's been predicting since 1989, and his track record of prediction, his accuracy rate is about 86%. So this guy is not just someone, whatever, but he works with Peter Diamandis with Singularity. I know Elon and Peter Diamandis are, they've done things together. Like he is a very respected dude in his space. And so I actually, some people obviously laugh at it, but 86% accuracy prediction rate, like I think we should listen to whatever he has something to say. So I just wanted to, do you want me to kind of read some of the things that he predicted?
Well, it's super annoying that this isn't in my notebook, but anyhow, I only have 4 things in there and you have a bunch more. I don't know why that is.
Well, do you want me to tell you what he predicted?
Yeah. Run through the predictions.
Well, because I don't think I put them in the notes, but basically some of the things that he predicted were, and you would know this, smartphones. In 1999, he predicted PCs in the wide range of sizes and shapes commonly embedded in clothing and jewelry. By 2009, iPhone launched. By 2009, iPhone launched in 2007. Wearables and smartwatches followed. So he predicted smartphones. Okay. He predicted the cloud. He described devices linking into the worldwide mesh that forms vast supercomputers and memory banks. He later explicitly called this what we now call the cloud.
Yep.
So that's what talking to computers, predicted widespread voice interaction and speech recognition by 2009, 2010. Alexa, Google Assistant followed. Self-driving cars predicted emergence in 2010s. Tesla, Autopilot, Waymo, Cruise are here. And AI dominating conversation, he has repeatedly said that the explosion of interest in AI LLMs in the 2020s is what he forecasted in 99, when most experts thought it would take a century. So that's just some of the things he predicted. Go check him out. Like, he's really interesting and crazy, like way out there crazy. But the reason I wanted to bring him on, because he had an interview with Peter Diamandis, and I kind of wanted to see and check how we are tracking, right? And do you want to kind of talk about this? Because this was in the files.
I didn't have this, so I got no prep here.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, he says by 2029, the arrival of AGI, which is 3 years from now, right? Crazy. AI achieves expert level performance across thousands of fields, outperforming the best human specialists. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's a guarantee. It looks like a lock. We have a little bit of work to do to get there through the great refactoring. As soon as that arrives, AI is completely replacing most human inputs in anything that's a replicable task, a procedural task. AIs are going to be able to do this with no fatigue. They don't have good days and bad days. They can check outputs faster. It's a can't miss.
Well, and then in 3 years after that, longevity escape velocity, AI-driven biological simulations compress decades of drug discovery into days, extending human life infinitely.
Or indefinitely. But he says if you can stay healthy until through the early part of the 2030s, you're probably going to be fine. That was literally his advice. He's saying, stay in good shape till then. At that point, we'll have all this biohacking and basically instant fixes for genomic deficits, for actual disease, any of these things. We'll pretty much be able to optimize the meat suit in ways that are previously impossible. He went on to make another prediction there, is that we will gain, he says, at some point in the future, not too distant future, before 2040, we will gain the ability to add more than 1 year of life expectancy to every living human each year.
What?
So therefore, if you ran that experiment long enough, you would theoretically be able to live forever. Which sounds terrible, actually, but
I don't know if I want to live forever, but
I don't think that one's going to pan out quite like that. But even the thought of gaining more than a year of life expectancy, even the thought of gaining half a year of life expectancy per year is outrageous.
Well, and then 2045, the singularity, the merge, computational and biological intelligence become indistinguishable, increasing human intelligence 1,000-fold. Basically, like, we're not going to be able to know if it's our thought or AI's thought. It's going to be so integrated. So I just wanted to show that this is like the path that's in front of us, and we can be either scared of it or riding it. And maybe the whole point of going to the moon is not that bad after all. I don't know. but that's kind of the whole point of the go listen to his interview. I mean, he's pretty optimistic about the whole thing, and I think we need more optimism in this world. But that I just wanted to kind of show the path of how we're moving. Do you have anything else to say about this?
Let me see. There was one more point. Let's see. Oh, yeah. He says that he doesn't want to do interviews anymore, and he doesn't think it makes any sense. He's focused on creating an AI avatar of himself. So you can think of it just like OpenClaw, stuffing OpenClaw with all your context. He has fed it all of the books that he's written. He's fed it interviews from the past. He's tried to give it as much public-facing information as he has ever put out there. And then, you can attach like an 11 Labs voice assistant to it. You can create an avatar speaking from the wealth of all your information. He says this is actually better than him because it remembers stuff better than he does. It has more instant recall. It's better at connecting some of the dots, at bringing up stuff that might be relevant and therefore interesting to the current conversation. And, it makes fewer errors.
Well, and now that we know about the OpenClaw existence, and you guys saw my files, I'm literally bring my own keys now to all my information, and it's so freeing that I don't have to go from OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, all of these different LLMs that have my contacts and my information, because it lives on my laptop. Now I have to think about how to protect it and how to back it up and all that stuff. But my files go to LLMs. I don't go to LLMs for files anymore, which is such a weird thing for us to kind of think about memory like that. That I own this.
Yeah, right. As proof of this concept that the AI avatar can be better than you, I'll present Olga. Olga's AI avatar is a designer. I don't think you want the regular Olga to draw you a picture.
No. Oh my God, no.
The AI version of Olga is quite good. Look at this graphic. This is great.
In fact, in the Russian school, I've been told I am not creative at all. So stick with math and languages. That's what they told me, and only now, look at me, I'm creating stuff with AI.
I think they missed their unknown on that one. Well, what can I tell them that they might have missed?
It's their fault. It's their bad. Hey, I think we're gonna skip lovable again today. Let's move to funding.
For lovable, maybe not too lovable after all.
Maybe lovable is basically, yeah. Do you want to skip it and just kind of maybe start next week?
We can bring it back next week. We've been having fun. Stuff is happening. Fun stuff is happening. So that wins. So.
My demo with Knox went crazy. Next time we should just keep talking to Knox, and he'll be answering things. That'll be fun. So let's do funding. Do you want to pull it up, or do you want me to do it?
I got the funding.
So pull up the first week, the main one first.
Wait a minute. This isn't it. I got to do this. Yeah, the weekly tracker.
Mm-hmm. And as he's pulling this up, you guys, we had a guest last week, and it was so fun. So if you think of anybody that we should be having on the show, let me know, because
throw some names out there. Did you see something cool? So, one thing before we get into this funding real quick, and this is on the topic of guests, there was a couple articles that were really good on X this week that kind of made waves in the AI adjacent OpenClaw crowd. And the best one, and the one that I want to be a takeaway for you this week, even though we didn't really have like a big segment on it, this article said, your company is a file system. Your company is a file system. Now, we just looked at OpenClaw and saw that it's really just a bunch of markdown files organized in various ways. I mentioned last week that you should really be thinking about everything that your business does, if you're involved in a business, as processes and documenting those processes in markdown files. I mean, obsessively documenting every detail. That way a machine can take it from point A to point B and get to the deliverable, or whatever the point of the business is, to do as much of that process as possible with no human input. That is the basic premise of this article that says your company is a file system. It was really short. It's like 6 paragraphs. But it is. Your company is a file system. Everything that you do that is procedural needs to be documented in these markdown files, needs to be stuffed into a context like this OpenClaw, so that decisions can be made on it and the actions can be taken on it.
And you can take it anywhere you want with you, because that's the whole point. Because right now, all my work I've done in Claude lives in Claude. All the work I've done in OpenAI, it lives, unless I take the file and put it on my drive or whatever, I am still the mover of the things. And with OpenClaw, I am no longer that, right? And anyway, I can go on and on.
It's amazing. We are distilling the known universe that we have been operating in down to files and commands.
Yeah,
it makes total sense.
I just asked Knox how many files it created in 5 days. It's at 71. 71 files. And he's constantly updating the ones that you already created with new information. That's the thing. Like that's the cool thing about it. Okay, so do you have anything else to say?
No. Let's move on to the funding.
So funding, this is the 11 weeks. We're tracking it now every week so you guys can see what's happening. And we thought that January 8th was our biggest funding, but no. This past week, we have the record week, and there was $32.8 billion raised. So you can see what the funding looks like, what the average is, and what the outliers are. So January 8th, it was XAI. Do you remember what was last week? That was a big fund. I forgot which company.
I don't recall. We busted through that so fast, but I do remember there being some big rounds in there.
Yeah, and then this week
wasn't it Waymo?
Oh yeah, Waymo. Yeah, Waymo did. And so Waymo got a lot of money the week before, and then this past week it was Anthropic. So, and let's pull up this week.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh wait, share this tab instead. Okay,
great. So this is AI funding for this week. Total funding is 32.8 billion. 92% of all funding in the world went to AI.
And what's his name? Ray Kurzweil's advice to his son, who's a VC. He said, only make AI investments, period. This is evidence of that. 92% of all funding going to AI.
Yep. So, and 96%, almost 97% went to US companies. So keep scrolling. So 89 companies raised money. United States is the top. Industries received money: software, healthcare. I actually like how Claude did this. Showing the types of companies that got the raise. So software, healthcare, manufacturing, SaaS, machine learning, cybersecurity, fintech, biotechnology, and retail. This is where it's going. Interesting. So Europe was number 2 in the race this week, with 21 companies that got 530 million in funding. And China was number 4 with only 2 companies. I don't know about China. I don't know.
I'm calling cap on that. They're so busy building open source.
Yes.
They're not getting funding.
For sure. Now, Anthropic got $30 billion. Can you keep scrolling?
Oh, yeah.
Apptronic, which is they design and manufacture humanoid robots for real-world applications. The company is bringing general-purpose robots into industries like logistics, manufacturing, and healthcare. They can perform tasks along humans, representing a major step toward widespread automation of physical labor. Well, there we go.
520 million to Apptronic. In any other week, that'd probably be the biggest raise.
Chime by Anthropic.
Tesla killed the Model S and the Model X, converting that facility to a robot manufacturing facility with the goal of 1 million robots by the end of this year. You got Apptronic here with this massive raise. I'm telling you right now, you're going to blink, you're going to wake up one morning, and there's going to be robots everywhere. It's going to happen. It's going to happen soon.
I mean, just like you like this saying, just like those birds, the scooters, overnight they were everywhere.
Yep.
That's
like
gonna be our life. Robots. Samba Nova, artificial AI infrastructure analytics, machine learning, semiconductor, computing infrastructure powers AI applications. You can read this because I think you have better.
All right. Yeah. So that's semiconductors and stuff like that. That's still the hardware infrastructure line of things, but still making big bets there. We got Runway at 315 million. I saw something about this. Yeah, they create generative AI tools for video, images, and creative content. I think their main premise with Runway is your Cameo or your avatar.
Well, that's the company. Remember that test we did, the Turing test?
Yeah.
So they're the ones that create this amazingly unreal, real-looking videos with AI.
So you put, you create yourself, and then you put your avatar out in the world, and then you make these amazing videos with your avatar.
And this is why you guys come to live shows where they're actually live people. I'm actually sitting here with my everything is real.
We could maybe attach a Runway creation to Knox and have Knox be on the show.
That would be funny. That would be so creepy. I don't want to think of him as a human though, but
I think I might have to cook on this a little bit.
Oh God. Anyway.
All right, we got Olix at 220 million. Next generation of AI computing using light instead of electricity. I've heard a little bit about this. I don't know. I'd love to see a demo and be wowed, but they claim their optical AI accelerators can have faster training for inference for large AI models while using less energy. This represents a fundamental shift in how we might build AI infrastructure in the coming years. I think if this were that big of a breakthrough, there would be like a gold rush for this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll see that. Maybe this is the very first cracks on this. I don't remember when I saw the article. I want to say it was late last year, something about that. But it's interesting to see $220 million in that direction. That is not nothing. So there we go. Big trends, mega deal. I mean, Anthropic getting 30 billion.
Yeah,
that's a mega deal.
It's not about size until it's about size.
Yeah, not until it is.
Yeah. So extreme mega deal concentration, generative AI still dominates, which is, makes sense. US geographic monopoly. United States keeps throwing money at it, and will be interesting to see what happens. Robotics and AI infrastructure emerge. I like that we move into robotics, especially after hearing how many robots China has. So this is nice and good to see that. And then healthy seed stage activity. I actually like the healthy part, especially since Ray Kurzweil talks about, just in 6 years, we'll be able to extend our life by so much. We just gotta stay healthy until then. But, it's interesting to see how much money is going to health. I'm all for it. And that's pretty much it.
A little breakdown, a little bit of seed, a lot of late stage.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of money in early stage, decent amount in private equity. It's all going to AI. That's what you need to know. It's all going to AI. We got infrastructure bets. We got, user-facing generative bets, which is basically the software layer.
Yeah. So why don't you start with your key takeaway from today's show? I'm going to look through the comments and see. You guys brought it today with comments. I love it. Esther, it's so nice to
what? Yeah. So let me share this real quick.
I just wanted to kind of make sure oh, wow.
So
yes.
This is a website. Ken here in the audience. Ken is a PageMotor beta participant. Yesterday at like about 24 hours ago, I dropped the design converter skill that I've been showing you guys on the show to where you can take a design that Claude generates and port it into PageMotor, make it a real live working website with a back end, front end, the whole bit in seconds, minutes. So I've been showing that. I dropped that skill on the beta people yesterday, 24 hours ago. Ken took that skill, already made this unbelievable looking site called the Birds of Banno Bay. I'll just give it a quick scroll here so you can see it. I'm just blown away, but this is really nice. Hello, this is phenomenal looking. It's got some little.
For those people that don't understand this, so Ken prototyped this in Claude.
Yep.
And then he took the prototype in Claude, from Claude, and then he used the skill for page motor conversion. In a couple seconds, converted that. There were some kind of technical things that he had to.
It was just a CSS thing. That's my deal. I got to fix some stuff in page motor.
And then boom, he had the live site that looks like a prototype, but it's live.
It's not. Yeah. It looks like what Claude did, but it works.
And you can manage the site, and you can sell the site, and you can basically do whatever you want with the site. It's not just a static site. It's a manageable live site that you can say.
Well, something that might be an equivalent way to think about this is a lot of designers and agencies use something called Figma right now to do prototyping. Figma is where you can like make the site, it's like Photoshop. You draw up the site, so to speak, and then you take it to a meeting and they say, oh, let's change this and that. And you swap some parts out. You get to the state that you want it. You say, this is what we want to ship. Well, then you got to take that and turn it into a live website. You port it to something like WordPress. You use Webflow. You got to take that and put it somewhere.
Translate it, right?
The Figma process is a labor intensive. It's an easier way to prototype than using HTML and CSS a little bit. I don't think it's that much better. It's a little better than Photoshop because it's made specifically for web environments. But the bottom line is it's a prototyping tool. It takes effort. Claude is a ridiculously great rapid prototyper. Much better than Figma. I can't even believe we're even having this discussion now. Figma should be dead in the water right now. Sorry, Figma.
We don't know much about Figma though, so we shouldn't be saying that. But like
they're cooked.
Claude
is lapping them. Phenomenal. Claude is Max Verstappen in a Formula One car.
Yeah.
So we got Claude cooking these designs. Then you can turn them into the real thing. Like that is the step from Figma to production. That sucks. That's the tough step. This is done in one shot, and it's already ready. It's a manageable, usable website, and it's good. I mean, look at this. This is all fast. It's got this gallery of birds, which is beautiful. Oh, that's incredible. 90 minutes start to finish. This is a ridiculous result. It's beautiful.
It's
got this. You can select like which birds are in the habitat. Like this is.
It's a beautiful site from idea to live thing in 90 minutes. That's unheard of. That's so amazing.
It's very tasteful. Got interesting features. Like you can see which birds are in the summer. Oh, it's a gannet. Oh, that's what a northern gannet looks like. I mean, this is convincing stuff. This is really nice. It dropped a map in there. I was wondering about this. Ken said that, like, I guess he dropped a location in there because it's Bano Bay, which is a real spot. And Claude threw the map in there itself. Like, it's really cool to have that. You can imagine if you were building stuff for local businesses, you clearly need a map. That makes sense. Or for anything else where a map might be applicable. It's interactive.
Ken, this is wow. I told you that in the forum. This looks incredible. And I love that you got to play with it right away. This is amazing. And I am really looking forward to seeing like what other designs we can see and actually like real life websites, because can you imagine what it does to the agency work? Like you just done.
Well, I mean, it's sort of like arresting to even say this or think about it, but the entire workflow has just been redefined.
Yep.
This took weeks before.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get the level of precision and accuracy and performance optimization that is already delivered in this package. Not to mention SEO, GEO optimization. That's all in there too. Like this is a higher quality build done in less time, and it's a more professional design. Like if I go to war with this, I feel like I'm probably going to win by a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
For sure.
So anyhow, that's amazing. But let's go to the takeaways from today's show. I think the thing I want people to realize is that we are interacting with AI through the typical prompts in a very limited way. It's limited contextually. It's limited in terms of like what the thing can consider in our responses. It's limited in terms of how much it can mimic who you are and what your desires are, what your current setup in life is. And OpenClaw is the thing for now that unlocks that. And I think future solutions, maybe that take its place, are still going to look like this. It's this basic idea. This basic idea is the answer to get to AGI. And I like this because it's personalized now. This is what AGI is for Olga. We saw that. We saw like the beginnings of that for you. And then we pair that with what Ray Kurzweil said, that your avatar can actually be better than you in many ways. It is a fascinating bit of stuff to think about. And so I am now like desperate to get my own OpenClaw going. And I already have some pretty big plans for this guy. I know what we're going to be doing.
Well, I mean, this is again, like it's you go slow to go fast, right? So that's kind of like, I'm not here for the X-Cloud or anything like that. But I'm here to learn and actually use it in my life, and for it to be helpful, not to brag how many agents I spawned out or whatever. My takeaway today, I'm kind of looking through the comments over here. Thank you guys for bringing, I love the comments so much. And so we had some comments here for people talking about getting jobs right now. I've heard about wiping away software devs, but software as a whole, it's bad getting a software job, especially right now. It's super tough. We're not giving up though, still trying. And I think that you guys being here and listening to all of this, there's this, even Peter Steinberg, I can never say his name, the OpenClaw's father, he said he doesn't like vibe coding. And vibe coding, everybody's looking for vibe coders right now, which I think is actually the wrong thing to talk about. He talked about, what did you say, Chris?
Agentic engineering?
Agentic engineering.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, if you're looking for a job, like you already know how to do a lot of these things. You're playing with AI. You're here. You're ahead of like 50% of workspace that hasn't even touched AI yet. Right. And so just kind of look through and ask, maybe talk to your, AI about the resume and like how to optimize it. I'm on the recruiting because a lot of companies are using tech to screen out a lot of applicants that don't have the right keywords. And so if you don't have all these hot words or whatever, the company's just not going to even look at that because they just want this next hot thing without even understanding what that means. I bet you they're still looking for vibe coders, and the world already moved to the agentic engineering at this point or whatever. So like the trends are changing so fast, and it's going to continue to optimize that. But it's those who show how they use AI with what they do are going to be,
This point is the point.
Right. That this is my takeaway. Like if you use AI with what you do and you talk about it, you're going to get, look at this guy, Peter, like he's getting offers from all over the place, right? He's wanted because he's figured out how to use AI with what he does. So keep embracing it. I know it's scary. I know it's weird. I read this article about the doom and gloom day about, how things are happening fast in AI this week on X. They had like 40 million views. And even I feel sometimes this uneasy feeling. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What's happening? But we don't have a choice. We have to move with it. Otherwise, the train is moving so fast that we gotta be on the train. And so let's see what other comments we have here. On the job market is the wild. I have now both experience and degree and nothing.
Unfortunately, that's true.
Yeah. So let's see what else we got. Feels like that for sure. Just quickie vibes for sure. Yeah. So anyway.
Well, listen, as the pace of the great refactoring accelerates, and believe me, it is whipping up right now. It is going into high gear. Companies are going to become desperate for executors to come in and refactor as much of their companies as possible with AI. They will realize that expertise is unlikely to emerge from within. In some cases it will, in most cases it will not. They will have to bring in experts, sort of like bringing in an SEO to come in and optimize your site. You're going to have to bring in somebody who is a professional at installing and replacing existing human capital with agentic systems. One of the problems that people are going to naturally fall into is that they will try to replace each position in a company with an AI. That's not the right way to think about it. I want to go in and replace as many people as possible with a single AI. It's not a one-to-one correspondence. When you have the context, you can match up outcomes. So things that previously required entire departments can probably, this is my little, hypothetically speaking, can probably be done with a single, properly contextualized agent. And so the people who know how to put those things together, that's why I'm saying go work with OpenClaw, go get this going, understand how this works and what you can start to piece together and what outcomes you can achieve, because entire departments are going to be agents soon. And it's not one-to-one jobs. No, it's departments.
Well, yeah. I mean, again,
And eventually, it will be, in many cases, it will be entire businesses or just one agent.
That is a really good point. My key takeaway today is like, I love what Ken did. He got something yesterday. He worked with it. Ken, you're my spirit animal. I am the same way. I just saw how OpenClaw demonstration worked last Friday, and I was like, I want it, and I got it. Like, this is the experimenting and having fun with it. This is kind of the mindset that I want all of us to start having, because otherwise, doom and gloom, that's, it's easy to do. So
we've got to challenge something that, like, most responsible people I know have trouble with. You have to allow yourself to go have some fun and go play. I know it feels rough. It's like, oh, it's all the stuff I got to do. I got to go be responsible and do this.
Yeah,
I know. But if you want to win, you need to have some fun right now.
Yeah. Well, have some fun, you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the comments. Send us whatever guests you think will be fun to have. I will have Knox on the case as well. Cell game. He tries to start a whole company with only AI agents as employees. Interesting implementation. Yeah, very, very interesting. I mean, there's going to be, this is why we're doing the show, because there's so much noise and so much happening out there that that is very, it's almost like whiplash to keep up with everything. And so I like that idea. I'm going to check them out. Thank you so much. Ken said, don't forget that site isn't the mock-up. It's a real live site built in minutes with AI and page motor, fully powered by a proper CMS. Yay! Thanks, Ken. This is honestly, the more I'm talking to people, this is where they don't connect the dots. They don't understand that this is a live site. They think it's still a prototype.
This is the finished product. You get to play with the finished product.
Talked to so far, they just don't understand that it takes you nothing almost from one thing to the other. So that's a big paradigm shift, but you've experienced it. I've experienced it with my revenue hire site. Chris is a cooking page motor site that looks beautiful. I can't wait for him to show that off. But yeah, like, we're just, I mean, how much work did you just take off your plate by doing this, the front end design?
Well, so this goes back to the fun thing. Like, I would have viewed this and approached this with a lot of dread in the past, like, oh God, I got to do a nice design for the page motor site. Like, I can do it. I can do a great job. I can spend a lot of time on it, but it sucks. I don't, it's like it's chewing up all my energy to do this. I don't want to do that. I got other stuff I got to do and stuff that sounds really fun to do. It's not that, but being able to rapidly prototype and do this with the AI is like my design companion, knowing that I can turn that into the live finished product in seconds.
That you can manage.
Incredibly freeing. I'm like, I want to cook with it now. I've got one really good concept working here already. I've got another prompt I'm throwing in there today to kind of tweak it a little bit. But now I'm kind of like, maybe I want to take a different direction and see what, try a different one.
I love it too. Playful Chris, come out and play. All right, guys, listen. Thanks for being here. We will see you next week with another episode of Practical AI, where we're actually doing what we're talking about. So go out there, have fun, play with it, and come back next Friday for more stuff.
Yeah, and tell us all the great things you did last week.
See you later. Bye.
See you, gang.